Today, we're talking about the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7, a phone that I paid, wait for it, $2,100 for, which is pretty insane. Now, painful price tag aside, the Fold 7 this time around does bring some noticeable changes and upgrades that just might make it the foldable phone that you've been waiting for. I'm Jason, this is JSL Review. I've been using the Galaxy Fold 7 for about a week now. Let's take a closer look. But before we get into it, a real quick plug for the JSL newsletter. I send subscribers a brand new full-res wallpaper every single week, as well as links to really good tech deals and fun articles written by yours truly. It's totally free. The link to subscribe will be in the description down below. So the Z Fold series has always been about pushing the boundaries in terms of smartphone design, and the Z Fold 7 definitely keeps that momentum going. Like its predecessors, it features a large inner display that folds shut like a book, along with a smaller functional cover screen for everyday use. Now, one of the most noticeable changes is how the phone feels in the hand. The Z Fold 7 is thinner and lighter than previous generations. When folded, it measures in at just 8.9 millimeters thick, and when unfolded, it's a razor-thin 4.2 millimeters. Moreover, despite being both taller and wider, the phone has shed around 24 grams in weight, making it more comfortable to carry and use. 1 week later, the more streamlined design is very noticeable, as the phone isn't as cumbersome to hold anymore, and it doesn't stick out like a banana that's happy to see someone when it's in my pocket. The Fold 7 is also extremely well put together. The back is protected by Gorilla Glass Victus 2, and the frame is made from Samsung's Armor aluminum. It has an IP48 rating, which means that it's resistant to dust and water, although it's not going to be fully waterproof. Now, Samsung has made the hinge even smaller this year, but it's actually more durable. It can hold the phone open at various angles, and when closed, the phone shuts completely without leaving a visible gap. The crease down the middle of the inner screen is still there, but it feels a bit flatter and smoother than before, and it's something that you're only going to notice when you're looking at the screen at a side angle. The inner display now is a full 8 inches. It's a foldable OLED panel with a resolution of 1968 by 2184 and a refresh rate up to 120 Hz. Now, Samsung claims that the screen is more durable thanks to thicker ultra-thin glass and an added titanium layer underneath, and while the increase from 7.6 to 8 inches is small, it is noticeable during use. Now, one downside is that Samsung has removed the support for the S Pen this year that I'm sure will disappoint some fans who are Galaxy Note OGs, and for those who use the Fold for productivity. I personally never use the S Pen, so it's not something that I've taken as a negative, but it's something that you're going to want to keep in mind. Now, consuming content on this huge display really is the main selling point of this phone in my opinion. It's seriously a power user's dream come true. When watching videos, you will still see the black bars at the top and bottom due to the aspect ratio unless you crop in, but the panel itself is excellent. It's sharp, it's contrasty, and supports HDR10 Plus playback. I especially enjoy the high refresh rate. Samsung does a great job in this area, and it makes the entire user experience feel smooth and luxurious. And though it takes some intentionality to form the habit, using the Fold 7 for consuming multiple forms of content has been great. For example, I've been loving having videos from TikTok playing on one side of the screen with something like Twitter on the other side. The Fold 7's dimensions makes it feel like you have two phones connected together, and it's probably the best way to take advantage of all this screen real estate. But the most important change that Samsung made to the displays is to the one on the cover screen. It has grown slightly to 6.5 inches and now has a 21:9 aspect ratio. This makes it feel like it's a standard smartphone, which actually turns out to be a big deal when it comes to the user experience. This is a big improvement over the narrower, remote control-like shape of the previous Folds, and it also features a 120 Hz refresh rate for that silky smooth UI navigation. After a week of use, I do notice that I'm using the front screen a lot more, mainly because it feels way more normal now, and it's so much more organic to use when I'm quickly responding to an email or text, or just getting a quick 5-minute content fix during a break. Now, when it comes to biometrics, Samsung has kept the reliable side-mounted fingerprint reader, so no new addition of an in-display fingerprint reader like what's on the Galaxy S25 lineup. The side reader is fast and accurate, and in my opinion easier to use, so I don't have any issue with it. When it comes to storage, you can choose between 256, 512, or 1TB storage options. Of course, there is no micro SD card slot for expansion, which in 2025 really shouldn't be a big surprise. Now, when it comes to software and AI features, this is the first Samsung foldable to launch with One UI 8 on top of Android 16. The interface looks familiar if you've used One UI 7, but there are some notable improvements. For one, Samsung's Circle to Search feature has expanded to work in multiple different apps now, still in my opinion, one of the best and most practical applications of AI. Gemini Live Mode takes things further as you can now talk naturally to the assistant or simply point your camera at something to ask questions about it. It even pulls in data from multiple apps to perform complex tasks, and Samsung promises 7 years of major OS updates and security patches, which means the device is built for long-term use. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy, the same chip that's found in this year's Galaxy S flagships. Performance overall is excellent, and the phone ranks near the top when it comes to benchmarks. However, I did notice some throttling during longer sessions, potentially because of the thin frame. Something to keep in mind if you're planning on using this phone primarily for gaming or other spec-intensive activities. When it comes to battery performance, the battery capacity remains at 4,400 mAh, and so does the endurance, which is pretty impressive given the reduction in the phone's physical footprint. The phone lasted just under 12 hours on the inner display and around 13 hours using the cover screen. Overall, it's nothing extraordinary, but it was nice to see that I could comfortably get through a full day of moderate to heavy use without running into any battery anxiety. Now, one of the bigger and more important upgrades Samsung made to the Fold 7 is with its cameras. The main camera has received a big upgrade, jumping from 50 to 200 megapixels, and the results are fantastic with excellent detail, sharpness, and realistic colors. The camera is identical to the one that's on the Galaxy S25 Ultra, and it's great to see that the Fold now has the best camera Samsung has to offer within their smartphone lineup. Portrait shots also look great, even if the default background blur can be a bit aggressive and artificial looking. In low light, the cameras do okay, and software tricks help a lot here. Not the sharpest, but definitely passable and pleasing to look at. The 3x telephoto camera performs well in daylight as it captures sharp images with good dynamic range. The ultra-wide camera is surprisingly solid as well, as it offers a wide field of view, good sharpness, and thanks to solid autofocus, it can also be used for macro shots. Now, one of the best things about having a foldable phone is the flexibility that it gives you for taking selfies. You can either use the inner selfie camera or the outer covered display camera, or even the main camera with the cover screen as a viewfinder. Now, the new inner selfie camera is a big step up from last year's under display version. It's actually super usable now and not some throwaway webcam like before. But of course, for best results, nothing beats using the main cameras for selfies, especially when you have a form factor like this. Now, when it comes to video recording on the main camera goes up to 8K at 30 frames per second. The footage is sharp, colorful, and well stabilized, and Samsung continues to make progress here, and the video that you're able to get at the Fold 7 has so far been extremely pleasing. It's not at the same level as the iPhone yet, but it's definitely getting closer. Now, when it comes to my overall thoughts, the Galaxy Z Fold 7 feels like a true refinement of Samsung's foldable formula, as it's thinner, lighter, and easier to use. The cover screen is wider and more practical than before, and the camera upgrades are genuinely useful. Now, does that justify the painful price tag this phone carries? The answer is probably not for most people. After using this phone for a week, it's become clear that the only people who have a direct use case for a foldable screen like this will likely find this phone to be value added. And that's kind of crazy to say because this is an incredibly put together, outstanding performing, and beautiful piece of technology here, but I really feel as though it's not something that most people would need. Now, that could be a hot take, especially for those who've already made the permanent jump over to folding devices, so let me know what you guys think. Do you think that the Galaxy Z Fold 7 is worth it? Or do you think it's only for hardcore tech enthusiasts out there? Curious to get your thoughts, let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. And in case you want to compare the Fold 7 with the Galaxy S25 Ultra, definitely check out this review, you're not going to want to miss it.